Welcome to Unlocked English, the Slow English podcast. Here, we speak slowly, think deeply, and learn English the natural way. Today's episode is a special one because today we're talking about something every learner has felt at some point. That question inside your head, why can't I speak fluently yet? You've studied for months, maybe years. You know the grammar. You know hundreds of words. You can understand English when you read or listen. But when it's your turn to speak, something happens. Your mind goes blank. You freeze. Or maybe the words come out slowly, painfully, like you're pulling them from deep inside your brain. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Every English learner, at some point, has felt this. So in this episode, let's find out the real reason you can't speak fluently yet. And most importantly, what you can do about it. Let's start with something personal. I still remember the first time I tried to have a full conversation in English. I thought I was ready. I had studied grammar for years. I had memorized hundreds of words. I had listened to songs, watched movies, and repeated every line. And then one day, I found myself standing in front of a native speaker, a friendly traveler who smiled and said, "Hey, how's it going?" And in that moment, my brain completely shut down. I forgot every word I knew. All that knowledge, all that practice, gone. I smiled awkwardly, said, fine, and then silence. I could feel my face getting warm, my heart beating fast, my mind screaming, say something, but nothing came out. That moment stayed with me for a long time because it made me realize something powerful. Knowing English is not the same as speaking English. Fluency is not built in your books. It's built in your mouth, your ears, your heart. So why does this happen? Why do we study so much and still struggle to speak? Here's the truth. The problem isn't your grammar, and it's not your vocabulary. The real problem is how you practice and what your brain does when you try to speak. Most learners spend years learning about English, but very little time using English. You read, you listen, you study rules, but your mouth stays silent. And the brain, my friend, learns by doing. It builds habits through repetition. If you only read or listen, your brain gets good at understanding. But if you never speak, your brain never learns to send words out fast. It's like training your ears and eyes, but not your tongue. Fluency is a skill, not knowledge. You can't think your way into fluency. You have to train your way there. Let's talk about what really happens in your mind when you speak. Inside your brain, there are two systems, one for learning and one for doing. The learning system is what you use when you study grammar, memorize vocabulary, or read a textbook. It's slow, analytical, logical. It helps you understand. But the doing system, that's the part that lets you speak automatically. It's fast, emotional, instinctive. It works only when you stop thinking too much. So when you try to speak English and you start thinking, what's the correct tense? What's the word for this? What if I make a mistake? You activate the wrong system. Your brain slows down. You block yourself. And the words get stuck between your thoughts. That's why fluent speakers don't translate, don't overthink, and don't stop to check every rule. They just speak. Because fluency isn't about knowing more. It's about trusting what you already know. Now, you might say, okay, I get it, but how do I stop overthinking? The answer is practice speaking differently. Don't study to remember. Practice to forget the fear, the control, the perfection. When you speak, focus on meaning, not on mistakes. Instead of thinking about grammar, think about ideas. Instead of trying to sound perfect, try to sound real. For example, when you want to say something but forget the exact word, don't stop. Describe it. Find another way. If you can't remember umbrella, say, that thing you use when it rains. If you forget hungry, say, I really want to eat something. Fluency isn't about using big words. It's about keeping the conversation alive. Here's something else I learned from experience. There was a time when I used to study English for hours every day, but I never spoke out loud. I thought, I'll speak later when I'm ready. Guess what? Later never came. Then one day I decided to change. I started speaking to myself out loud in my room for just 5 minutes a day. I described what I was doing. I'm making coffee. I'm checking my phone. I'm thinking about work. At first, it felt strange. But after a few days, something amazing happened. The sentences started coming faster. My brain stopped translating. My words felt lighter. I could think in English. That's when I realized you don't need someone else to speak with. You just need your own voice. Because your fluency doesn't begin in a classroom. It begins in your mind. Let's talk about another hidden reason you might still feel stuck. Fear. Fear is the biggest barrier to fluency. It hides behind every hesitation, every silence. You're afraid of making mistakes. You're afraid people will judge you. You're afraid you'll sound stupid. But here's something I want you to really understand. Mistakes are not your enemy. They're your teacher. Think about how you learned your first language. You made thousands of mistakes. You said funny words, used wrong grammar, and sometimes no one understood you. But you kept going. You learned because you used the language. Fluency is not built by avoiding mistakes. It's built by surviving them. So when you speak English and make an error, smile. That mistake is progress in disguise. Now, let's talk about something that many learners ignore, emotion. Emotion is the secret engine of fluency. When you feel something, you remember faster, you speak more naturally, and your words become alive. That's why speaking about topics you care about is so powerful. If you talk about grammar, your brain stays cold. But if you talk about your dreams, your fears, your favorite things, your brain wakes up. So next time you practice, don't just repeat random sentences. Talk about something real. Say what you feel. I'm tired of being afraid to speak. I want to connect with people. I feel proud when I understand a new word. That's not just practice. That's transformation. Another big reason many learners can't speak fluently yet is that they try to learn everything but never master anything. They jump from grammar to idioms, from YouTube videos to podcasts, from one course to another. Every week, a new method, a new teacher, a new app. And while all of these are great tools, they become a trap when you don't stick to one system long enough. Fluency doesn't come from what you start. It comes from what you continue. Choose one method that works for you. Maybe it's listening and shadowing. Maybe it's journaling in English. Maybe it's daily self-talk, and stay with it. Consistency beats intensity. Even 10 minutes a day of focused, mindful speaking will do more for your fluency than 3 hours of silent study once a week. Let's talk about speed. Many learners think fluency means speaking fast. It doesn't. Fluency means speaking comfortably. You can be fluent and slow. You can speak gently and still sound confident. Speed will come later, after comfort, after confidence. In fact, speaking slowly helps your brain organize ideas. It gives you time to breathe, to feel the rhythm of English, to speak from your heart, not from panic. So don't rush. Speak slowly. Let your sentences breathe. That's real fluency. Another small secret: your environment matters. If the people around you don't use English, you have to build your own English world. Change your phone language. Listen to English podcasts in the morning. Think in English when you're alone. Write your thoughts in English before bed. Don't wait for the perfect moment or perfect partner to practice. Create the environment yourself. English should not be a subject you study. It should be a small part of your everyday life. Now, let's pause for a second. Ask yourself this: what does fluency really mean to me? For some, it means speaking fast. For others, it means being understood easily. But for me, and maybe for you, fluency means freedom. The freedom to say what you think, the freedom to connect, the freedom to be yourself in another language. You don't need perfect grammar for that. You just need courage, consistency, and curiosity. Before we finish, I want to tell you one more story. There was a time when I almost gave up. I was tired of studying. I felt like I was stuck in the same place, understanding everything but unable to speak naturally. One day, I met a friend who spoke broken English, lots of mistakes, simple words, but he spoke with confidence. He didn't care if his grammar was perfect. He laughed, told stories, and people loved talking to him. That moment changed everything for me. I realized that fluency isn't about correctness. It's about connection. That friend taught me more about English in one evening than years of textbooks ever did. So, if you still can't speak fluently yet, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're still building the habit. Your brain is still learning to trust itself. Your mouth is still learning to move naturally. And every word you speak brings you closer to that flow. Fluency isn't a finish line. It's a journey. Every conversation, every mistake, every laugh, it's all part of the path. So keep speaking, keep feeling, keep trusting yourself. You're already doing it. You just need to keep going. Thank you for listening to Unlocked English, the Slow English podcast. Remember, you already have everything you need inside you. Now it's time to use it slowly, naturally, confidently. Until next time, take care and keep unlocking your English.